Hey there, have you ever had one of those customer conversations where it seems pretty straightforward, the words are pretty straightforward, but you feel something, right? There's something deeper going on there and you can't quite put your finger on it. Well, one of our MOS members had sent me an email thread, and it was really a perfect example of this. On the surface, the customer was saying, okay, we're holding off. But when we look closer at it, the message was really hiding um, inside of what the theme was, what maybe they were repeating, and what they were avoiding answering. They were rejecting the offer, and they were telling her exactly what they wanted. So today I want to look at how those hidden clues in our own conversations with our customers can be dug out, so that way we can stop guessing and start responding with confidence. So let's dive in here. While the intro is playing here, make sure that you guys are liking, subscribing, sharing this with other small business owners. Let's dive in.
Dark days, overwhelmed, trapped in a maze. Small business owner, stress had me in a daze. Every problem piled up, couldn't catch a break. Thought I couldn't make it, my dreams were at stake. But then I found a group that changed my whole perspective. Our success group of a community so effective. We all chasing that dream, sharing struggles and fears. They understood my journey, wiped away my tears. Together we broke through, we rise above. No more feeling stuck, we're fueled by love. Our small business is shining, reaching new heights. With the support of our success group, we're taking flight. The power is strong, the vision so clear. Building our dreams with no more fear. Together we're resilient, unstoppable force. With our success group.
Let's talk some business.
Welcome into Small Business Saturdays. My name is Aaron Montgomery, and I support small business owners in building a business they love instead of one that just drains them over and over. Every week here on Small Business Saturday, we talk about practical ways to bring more clarity, more confidence, and alignment into your business using the fundamentals as our guide. So here's the deal, you guys. We know this, right? I think we know this deep down, but our customers, they're already telling us what they want, right? So we don't need fancy surveys or giant marketing plans. We just need to figure out how to better listen to the conversations that we're already having. And really, once we start doing that, we find ourselves creating more conversations to listen to. And so once you learn to start spotting the clues in these conversations, everything from your offers to your messages, they become more clear. So as we dive into our conversation here today, as usual, we follow the cycles of the fundamentals of business success here, with plant being our first cycle, really just kind of the mindset and the awareness that we need to get straight first before we can really get real value out of what we're talking about here today. And as usual, it comes with a shift in our mindset. And so every time I talk to somebody about getting more feedback from their customers, heck, I even thought this way for a long time myself. We want to go the safe route, where we want to go places where we can be anonymous, where we don't have to quote unquote face the music, so to speak, right? Feedback can be scary. It can be overwhelming. It's something that we're very proud of, that we are building in our business, and to hear that maybe it's not exactly right for everybody can really hurt our ego. And so what we tend to do is we want to make some fancy survey or form, or really kind of dive deep into the analytics, or do a big market research project and all that stuff, right? Yes, those can be great. Right? Like, I understand where those are valuable, but they're honestly overkill for most of us. And I find it to be something that we just hide behind. And here's the good news, though, is we don't have to really quote unquote face the music. We don't have to have super hard conversations. We don't have to have pointed, like, challenging, difficult questions or meetings. The clearest signals actually are showing up in your everyday conversations that you're already having. We just have to actually slow down long enough to see and listen and hear. And so let me start by sharing an example of what we're talking about here. And as I mentioned at the beginning, there was a real conversation that was had over email between an MOS member that is part of the MOS group, the Masters of Success Mastermind group, and her customer. And I'm going to remove the particulars, because this is not my story to tell. If she wants to, that's totally fine. But I think you're going to get the idea. So, well, you okay? All right, sorry about that. So we are not live. This is recorded, but I'm just going to leave that in there. My dog got into something and then scared the heck out of her, so it scared me too. Yes, I think she's okay. All right. So again, this is recorded. I am away at a volleyball tournament, but we're just going to leave that in there because why not? Right? It's fun. Fun to have a little technical difficulties. All right. So back to what I was saying. This was an actual conversation, and so I want to read the particulars of it. Again, I took out kind of so we couldn't, names and all that kind of stuff. But this is what the customer said specifically. I've been thinking a bit about the insert product or service here, but I think I'd like to hold off. We're really focusing right now on exploring previously unexplored options, so I'm pausing for the moment. We're trying new insert products or services here options. Basically, we're spending less time, energy, and money on anything that we just keep our fingers crossed someone will stumble across. And we're focusing our dollars on more dynamic, higher impact options. So let me just give that to you one more time. All right. I'm thinking a bit about the products or service, but I think I'd like to hold off. We're really focusing right now on exploring previously unexplored options, so I'm pausing for the moment. We're trying new options. Basically, we're spending less time, energy, and money on anything that we're just keeping our fingers crossed someone will stumble across, and focusing our dollars on more dynamic, higher impact options. Now, if you look at this, right, there's a ton of magnificent feedback inside of this, right? The customer never said, your product or service isn't valuable, right? She never said, we don't want to work with you. What was said is they wanted more dynamic and higher impact, right? Like that particular phrase alone is gold, right? And it may not work for this customer, but this is gold for your future marketing and for future conversations with customers that are similar, right? So it tells you what their desires are. It also, in there, it talked about what her fears were and the lens that she was using to make decisions, right? We're no longer interested in something that we can't measure, right? It needs to be dynamic and something that we can really notice and see that high impact. And so the mindset that we need to get from this, right, so we can go into our prepare and then our pollinate phase is very simple. So instead of taking customer questions and hesitations just at face value, like, oh, it's a no, it's over, there's no value here, you need to start asking yourself, what are they really telling me? What desire is underneath what they're saying? And when you train yourself to listen for that depth underneath, right, then your confusion about, oh, I don't know why, right? Like a lot of times I'll ask people, okay, well, why did you lose that job? Or why did you lose that quote or whatnot? And they go, I don't know. And the reality is, if you go back through the entirety of the conversation, you can find exactly why, right? And so when you train yourself to listen for that, you start having more clarity and less confusion. You're going to slowly start to feel more sure, and you will start seeing patterns that were always there, right? And it takes intentionality. It takes slowing down long enough to go back and look at the whole thing and facing some fears, right? Like, oh, are they giving me negative feedback, right? Like we need to crave feedback. That's fundamental number 12 in the book is crave feedback. And that's what this is. These conversations are a constant stream of feedback, and we tend to want to hide from the stuff that we don't think is positive. All right. So that's our mindset. That's where we plant the seed here. We got to start training ourselves to looking a little deeper into the conversations that we're already having. Now, as we prepare, as we step into the next cycle here, this is really about, what's our strategy then to look for this and what are some practical steps that we can start building and kind of having in front of us so we can take a deeper look at the conversations we're already having, right? And so once we've started asking those questions, let's start using these conversations to get real clarity on what they actually want. And I think for me, what I've discovered is there are three kind of steps or simple actions you can start taking. This is a strategy that you can start implementing. And the first thing, we've already touched on it a little bit, but I want to go a little bit deeper into, is just we got to look for themes. Right. So in that example that I read to you, again, the customer mentioned dynamic and high impact, right? That's not an accident. That's a theme, right? And again, I know this person and I know this person's business in the MOS and what they're doing, and her customers, I think across the board, are looking for that. How can I get more dynamic and higher impact to what they're trying to do? And so if you look deeper at the theme and then start looking at the words they use to describe the theme, right? Like, get, what does higher impact mean? What does dynamic mean? Right? So just start writing, looking for those themes, and then start writing those phrases down. And the cool part about writing these phrases down and like kind of keeping them is they become the language for your marketing, your messaging, and even as you start looking at, okay, well, how maybe I need to do some product development. Maybe I need to have some different offers here. Okay, well, what would be an offer that's dynamic and higher impact, right? And go from there. So there's a great starting point. The second kind of strategy here is to then also look for the contrarian, right? The contrast that they're making. Like, the customer didn't just say what they wanted, right? They wanted dynamic and higher impact, but they also mentioned what they were tired of, what they didn't want, right? She didn't want things where they were relying on somebody to stumble across them, right? So it wasn't very high impact. We didn't even know, right? It just happened. And that was the fear, right? So you can see, you can extrapolate from that, or even kind of hear it in the language, that there's a fear of wasting time, of just, wasting money, wasting effort that don't end up showing results, right? Maybe they have somebody that they are beholden to, like a boss or a shareholder or something like that, and so they have to find something that's very clearly dynamic and high impact, right? And so when a customer starts telling you what they're moving away from, they're really kind of giving you or revealing, whatever, whichever way you want to look at that. They're telling you how they're making their decisions internally, and that's the criteria that they're going to go by. Can I measure this, right? Is it not? Is it tangible in this particular conversation here, right? And all the conversations are going to be different, but they're going to tell you both things. And this is just human nature, right? We talk about what we're going away from and what we're interested in. And then the third thing is then to take this information, right? You've got what they're interested in, you've got what they're going away from, and then compare that to what you're offering and how you're talking about that offer. And I think this third part is really where the clarity shows up for you. You take it from them, and now you implement it into you and your business. And you either are offering something that delivers that already, but you just haven't proven it well enough, or you're not making clear enough statements to show that to people, or you need to start adjusting your offers, right? And for this particular MOS member, it opened up two really interesting paths for her. She could go back and show data and testimonials and do a little bit more that way in her marketing message, and kind of prove that her offers were already high impact. We just weren't talking about them that way. Or she could look at that and say, okay, well, I need to change or expand my offers and do something differently. And both of those solutions are very powerful, because now it gives you clarity as to where you're headed, right? It might mean a change. It might mean something that's scary, but your choices start to become more clear, because the customers have already then at that point told you what you need to do to win their business, right? That's what winning looks like. So when you follow those three steps, you're going to stop guessing, and your offers and your messaging and your decisions really start to line up with what your customers are actually valuing, right? What's important to them. And then as we kind of start to get into, okay, great, this is good stuff, right? Okay, I got to slow down long enough to listen and really get the compare and contrast, right? What do they desire and what are they moving away from, and really have those conversations as deeply as you can. And then, okay, now that I've got that, now I need to kind of grab the information, have a little way that I, whether it's a notebook or a spreadsheet or whatever, right? And we'll talk a little bit more about this in a second, and really just start collecting these things. Right now, how do I implement this? Right. So the awareness of strategy is awesome, but we need to find that place where growth is going to happen for you, and how you can start applying this to real conversations with real customers that you are already having in your day-to-day world. And and I want to just leave you here with a couple of quick ways that you can start putting this into motion immediately. Right. And so first, collect those phrases, right? I kind of mentioned that already, but I want to get a little bit deeper into it. Just start collecting it. Like, you might not even know what it means yet, but any words that stand out, right? Like, so for this example, it was an email. And so you can comb through that email and go, oh, high impact, right? What was the other one? I just spaced it. High impact and where is it? Dynamic. Sorry. Wow. Phew. High impact and dynamic. Right. So that's those are words that pop off the page to me. What are popping off the page to you in your customer conversations, right? And let's be honest, if that's not something that comes naturally for you, that's okay, right? There are people out there that have this superpower. Hello, right? And I'm always willing to help. So all you have to do is reach out. All you have to do is go over to consultaaron.com and reach out to me, or message me, or whatever is right for you. Heck, send me an email right here, success@oursuccessgroup.com, or you can contact me at consultaaron.com. Right. So start looking for those things, right? What are they avoiding? What do they want to go away from? What's the pain that they're currently experiencing? And what is the desired outcome that they're looking for? And from there, right, you can start collecting that, whatever's easiest, right? It doesn't have to be super fancy. A note app, a spreadsheet, right? Start plugging it into your chat GPT conversations. But the idea is to grab their exact words, not your translation, right? We need their exact words. So over time, you're going to see patterns that will point you right to what you want more of and what they want less of, right? Like, that's the whole idea here. What do they want more of and what do they want less of in their words? And that pattern is going to start emerging for you the more of those words and the more of those conversations you're looking for and having. All right. So that's first. Secondly, now, because of all this value and gold here, I think we need to create more conversations to learn from. And again, this does not need to be a complicated, I've got to do a survey, I've got to, hire a company to make random calls to my customers, right? Like, again, I know there's a place for all of those things, but what we're trying to do here is just build relationships, understand more deeply what our customers are really all about, right? And so reply to an email where maybe they said, I'm holding off, right? Be more curious. One of the key things, and this is, I was super proud of her, and she's really good at this, but in the middle of this email thread, right, that was kind of, I'm holding off, and most people would have left it at that, but she was encouraged enough to go, hey, I'm going to follow up, right? And so her follow up in the middle of this was exactly this, and I want to read it to you so I get it right here. I was curious what unexplored options you're considering. This is not to sell you more, but to understand what our customers are looking for so we can better serve your needs. Perhaps there is a program we need to consider that we're not doing now. I'd love to get your feedback. And if you wouldn't mind giving us a review, that would be great, right? This person already had a relationship with them. They've been doing business together for a long time, and now all of a sudden they were stopping. And so, most people would have stopped there at, we're going to hold off for now. Oh, I'm so sad, right? Like, I get it. Yes, that sucks. But the reality is you can stay there, right? You can make that your campsite. Or what she did is say, nope, this is a jumping off point. right? Her business has changed drastically since this conversation. But it took being open to asking that next question, right? And so again, we don't have to go out and make crazy tough meetings and difficult conversations. We just need to keep asking curious questions. And are you going to get responses to all of them? No, but you're going to get enough responses if you continuously keep showing up and keep asking, right? And what a great way to get more feedback, right? Just asking those questions. And I really love the request for a review at the end, right? Like okay, maybe you're not going to be my customer anymore, but I know we've done business together, and that review could help me. What's the next thing? People want to help other people, whether they're saying yes to your services or not. And some of my best reviews are from people that haven't actually purchased anything from me yet, right? They're still building, right? But they said, you know what? But what you helped me with for free was amazing. And some of those have turned out to be great testimonials for me, right? That prove to people that I don't care about your money. I care about the impact that we can make together. I care about the impact that I can make on your business. And so every small interaction gives you another piece of clarity if you're willing to look at it, right? If you're willing to answer those hard truths and say, maybe I do need to do better, right? And then saying, ask more questions. All too often, business owners want to just solve the problem. Let's get to the solution. Let's say yes or no, right? But I believe every single thing, as long as until we can get that real depth of clarity, should just be another question. Great. Okay, well, why are you asking that, right? What's important to you? Those types of things. So find yourself, instead of making statements, ask more questions. The best and most successful business owners ask the most questions to make sure that they get things right and to make sure that they understand at a deep level how they can serve their customers. All right. So that's the second thing. The third thing is then take all this information and be willing to adjust part of your offer, your message, right? Use what you've learned here. Pick a phrase that might be showing up often, right? In this particular case, and I'm making some assumptions here, but I would imagine, based on what I know about this business, things like high impact, more predictability, less stress, right? Those are going to be things that show up often in conversations that this person's having, right? Like overwhelmed shows up a ton in the conversations that I'm having. Too many things on my to-do list, right? And for a long time, I wasn't willing to listen to that. And so I kept giving people more to-dos, right? Here, I'm just giving you steps that you can take, right? This is not more to-dos. It's just part of your daily process. And so start weaving that into your product descriptions, into your next social media posts, or even making changes or upgrades to your offers, right? I've had a lot of offers over the years, and this current offer, the accelerator, it's not about more to do. You've got plenty of things on your to-do list. It's actually going to give you your time back. I'm only asking you to focus on your business, which you're probably doing, but just not intentionally. And so let's be intentional to focus on our business for about 3 to 6 hours a week, right? That's it, 3 to 6 hours a week, and you're going to get your time back. But until I was willing to listen to what was important to people, I was never able to make that change, right? It was hours and hours of content and do this, and here's a huge workbook and all this other stuff, right? Like, here's the great part. Everything that they're going to need is going to be there. If they do want hours and hours of content, perfect. It'll be there. There will be a workbook, all that stuff. But that's not the point. The point is the intentional working on your business so you can build a business that you actually love. And so that's what the conversation's all about, right? And so I'm not telling you need to go out and overhaul your business completely. I'm just saying, look at what your customers are telling you and make those adjustments, and stop waiting to be hit upside the head with, oh my gosh, I'm going out of business, or I lost my biggest customer, or right. Like, if we can continuously make these adjustments and listen to our customers, we're going to be in a really good place. And then fourth, look for conversations where your customers are hesitating, right? Like, if you've had a lot of communications and then all of a sudden they become silent, right? Okay, what does that mean? Dig into that. What's if they say they want to hold off, right? What are the pushbacks, right? What could be the root cause of that? Because anytime a customer slows down or push back or wants to hold off, right? We need to ask ourselves, what fear are they expressing, and how can we speak to that, right? What's changed? That shift right there, just going from, oh my gosh, they don't like me, imposter syndrome, I knew they would finally find out, to, what fear just showed up for them, right? What's happening in their world? Put it back in them. This is where empathy really comes into play here. Is it's not about you, right? We're so engaged in what we're doing each and every day that all we think about is us. And I get it, right? Like I know I can get really stuck in that trap. And then from there, right, it's like, oh my gosh, nobody likes me, nobody's showing up, nobody's going to watch this video, me. But the reality is, okay, I didn't give them something, or they had something else going on, or it wasn't a good time for them. Like, I don't, I've been recording a lot more of these. Obviously, we've got a lot of stuff going on with volleyball, but like this one, I'm cool with that, right? I used to love the live interaction, and I still do. But the reality was, not a whole lot of people were showing up live anyways. And then once I started putting these out there and following up and stuff like that, I found that actually a lot of people were watching them after the fact and just not saying anything, right? Like, I think it's hilarious, because I know that business owners that are going to be successful are the ones that are engaged, asking questions, utilizing the value that's in front of them. I'll tell you anything, right? Like, so, but the reality is that's what's true. So it's not about me. It's about my customers, right? It's about you guys. And the same thing goes for you. It's not about you. It's about your customers. And once you can start asking that question, what fear are they expressing, or what's the deeper seated reason for their hesitancy, then now you can shift your own internal, and you get that confidence back, and it helps you respond in a more clear way instead of being defensive and, oh, I'm so great, why not, or why do you not like me? Like, oh man, how can I help you? What would be good, right? Like, is that not going to win that customer back way faster than being defensive and just like, well, you're not for me anyhow, right? But I don't know, maybe that's true, maybe that's not. But the reality is, we can have more clarity and be more helpful when we shift from away from us to what is the challenge that they're facing. All right. So as we wrap up here today, I want to leave you with this big takeaway, right? Your customers are already giving you the information that you need to serve them better. And when you slow down and you look at the conversations you're already having, this is another reason why I love email, because it's a gold mine of specific words from your customers. And if you're not replying, right, you've got them in your messengers and in everything. When you slow down and you start looking at those conversations and pay attention to the themes, you're going to start seeing the value that they're looking for. You're going to start seeing what they fear and what they truly want from you. And when you make your decisions about your business from that place, you get to show up with confidence, and your business is going to feel a whole lot simpler. So your action step for this week, right? I'm not giving you homework here. This is actually something that's going to give you your time back. You don't need to go create some wild form or anything like that. Go back through a few recent emails, messages, or comments, and look for some themes or phrases that stand out. What's a desire? Look for a desire that they're telling you about. What's a fear? And then maybe what's a frustration? And start writing it down. Let that guide a small update you make in your offer or your message. And those small shifts are actually going to bring a lot more forward progress, that you can eliminate all of the to-dos that you had around, oh my gosh, I have to create a form, I have to send an email, I have to, oh, do I give away a gift card to get feedback, right? Like, I get all those things, and there's nothing wrong with that. But why do that right now when you've got a gold mine of information sitting at your fingertips? All right. So that's the action for today. If this conversation was helpful to you, please do me a favor. I'm asking you guys to share this episode with another business owner. Share it on your social media and just say, hey, this was really good information for me. Here's how I'm using it, or whatever. Just share it. I don't even care if you say anything. I would love you to share something, but I get that we're all busy. So all you do is hit the share button and share it. Maybe there's a business owner out there that that's feeling unsure and overwhelmed, and this could be the change that they need. And don't you want to be the one to help them get there? Right. So also, If you want some more support, right? If you are that struggling, overwhelmed business owner, I brought up the accelerator already, but let's talk about it a little bit more, right? Just take a look at it. Give yourself an option to say, I would like to at least discuss that with Aaron, right? And if it's not comfortable discussing it with me, I'll have you discuss it with one of the MOS members or my wife or whatever, right? Whatever's right for you, we can have that clarity chat. But let me share a quick video to give you a little bit more information about what the accelerator is, and then we can go from there. Again, let's have that free clarity chat, or just what would you like? How can I guide you to more clarity, confidence, and fun in your business? So here's a little bit more information about the accelerator. Hey, business owners. I know it's that season. Maybe you've got too many tasks on your list, too many decisions that you're trying to make. I get it because I've been there. Would you prefer to have more clarity, more confidence, and really be working on what actually matters for you? The good news is you don't need more effort. You don't need another to-do list. You don't need some magic system or some business guru to tell you what to do. You need clarity. You need alignment. You need a foundation that fits who you are. Enter the Business Builder Accelerator. It's a 12-week guided experience that helps you build a business that fits your strengths, your values, and your passions. You're going to get clarity, you're going to get a clear plan, and a stronger mindset because you have a true understanding of your ideal customers, pricing that reflects your values and provides more profit to your business. Your to-do list is actually going to shrink as you give up busy work and focus on what truly matters for your business. If you're ready to gain that clarity, become more confident, and be more aligned in your business, comment fun or send me a message. I've been there. I didn't need the help. But once I finally reached out and said, hey, I need a different perspective, that's when everything changed. I love watching that because, how stubborn that I can be, right? Like I said in the video there, I didn't need the help. That's what I thought. I thought that if I asked for help, that I was weak and I wasn't going to be successful. And um, man, I wish that I would have figured that out a lot earlier, right? Just ask for help, and it's not the help, right? I wasn't asking somebody to do it for me. I was asking for a different perspective. I was stuck. I was too close to it. And I needed that guardrail. And I've been so blessed to be able to get those perspectives over the last few years, be able to take a lot of those perspectives, put them into this book, and now be able to say, okay, this Business Builder Accelerator is going to be the perfect tool to allow people to build their own fundamental business on their own terms based on who they are. And I am unbelievably excited about it. So just go to that link, osg.link/builder, hit the free clarity chat button, reach out to me. Let's have a conversation. We're going to get this rolling. And today is coming out on the 13th of December. So we've got 2 days left for the price, the $500 off. It's normally $14.97 and until the 15th of December. And all you have to do is tell me you're interested by then, right? Like you don't even have to commit to it. Just tell me you're interested, at least in talking about it. And as long as you do that by the 15th, we'll get you locked in at that price. And, this will be an amazing opportunity for you to have 2026 be the best year of your business ever because you've built a fundamental foundation for your business. All right. So again, osg.link/builder. I have to say it one more time just to make sure everybody got that. But, all right, let's talk about next week here. We're going to shift gears a little bit. We're going to explore something that a lot of business owners maybe kind of, I say a lot of business owners because this is what I did. And then the people that I ended up being surrounded with, it seemed like it was very similar. And we did want to talk about it. And the concept is choosing faith over fear. Right. I think we make a lot of decisions based on fear. I know I have. I know I still do. And so we spend so much time being stuck looking at where we've been, all of our past mistakes, what went wrong, the challenges that we've faced, the unfair things that have happened to us. But life and business isn't about where you've been, right? That your past really says nothing about your future. It might give you learning opportunities, but I know lots of people, myself included, that have things in our past that don't need to define us, right? And so it's about where you're going, and the person you were is not the person you are, and it's not the person that you're becoming. And so we're going to talk about how to kind of carry that truth, how to go from fear back towards faith, that we're getting there, that we're doing the right things, right? And we want to carry that truth with us into our business and into our daily decisions. So I am super excited about that conversation. I can't wait to have that conversation with you guys next week. According to the calendar, it does look like we should be back live, but always comment in there. I do my best to try to get back into the comments. If you're not getting replies from me, make sure that you're tagging me, tag at Aaron or at our success group there. But I do try to look and find and reply to everything that needs a reply to keep the conversations going, because that's what this is all about, is about having these conversations. So I also am really excited. I'll put it back up there one more time, to have a clarity chat with you individually. So go to osg.link/builder, and there's a button. You'll see it. It's even, I think it's got a little pulsating arrow on it even, and it says free clarity chat. Just schedule a time that works for you. No expectations, just a chat, right? And I cannot wait to have those conversations with you guys. Looking forward to it. And I will talk to everyone again next week.
Dark gaze, overwhelmed, trapped in a maze. Small business owner, stress had me in a daze. Every problem piled up, couldn't catch a break. Thought I couldn't make it, my dreams were at stake.